Hey there everyone, Nate Klemp here. Today I want to talk about 4 ways that you can sit for meditation. And I realize this sounds like a really trivial thing, who cares how you sit for meditation? Well, let me just tell you from my personal experience, this question can actually be the difference between establishing a meditation practice and deciding this is just too hard, I don't want to do it. So if I go back 22 years to when I was in college and I first learned how to meditate, I couldn't do it. And it wasn't because I couldn't concentrate. It wasn't because the discipline wasn't there. It was because my legs were so tight from all sorts of running and physical exercise and just a lack of flexibility in my body that I couldn't sit cross-legged. So I just didn't do it. And that persisted for about 10 years until I started to do it in my 30s. So finding a comfortable seat is really the key when it comes to mindfulness practice. And I want to give you 4 different ways that you can experiment with so that you can find the seat that works best for you. So here's the first way of sitting, which I'm not going to recommend, where you sit cross-legged on the floor. Now, there are some people who are incredibly flexible. Maybe they've been doing yoga their whole life. Maybe you've done gymnastics. And if that's the case, it's possible that this position will work for you. But I find that for most people, when they try to meditate in a position like this, it just becomes a total non-starter, right? That you're able to sit for 5, maybe 10 minutes, but pretty soon you start experiencing some significant physical sensations that end up distracting you from the practice. But if you're one of those flexible yogis, go for it. Now for the second way of sitting. This involves sitting cross-legged, but you're going to help yourself last longer in your meditation by adding the assistance of a bolster, often also called a zafu in the Zen tradition. This is basically just something you're going to put underneath your butt so that you're somewhat elevated as you sit cross-legged. So I have a couple possibilities here, a couple options. This one's a little bit thinner. This is a yoga bolster. This one's designed more specifically for meditation. I think as a rule of thumb, the less flexible you are, and I am not very flexible, the larger you want this to be. So as you can see, using this bolster, all of a sudden my seat cross-legged is so much more comfortable. So now let's explore a third possible position for meditation. This position is not cross-legged, but is one of the more traditional ways of practicing, and it involves using a meditation bench. So I have a couple different meditation benches here, just so you can see what this looks like. This one is fairly short, so this one's not going to give you much incline. If you're very flexible, that's a good option. This is one that I actually built myself with the help of my father, and it's a little bit taller. The basic idea is you're going to want some sort of cushion. So I have this cushion here underneath my knees, and then you'll insert the bench here. And this also becomes a very comfortable way to practice. So now for our final option, and for most people, this actually ends up being the best option, which is instead of trying to get fancy, sitting cross-legged or with a meditation bench, just using a regular chair to meditate. So I want to just show you a couple things about this because there is a trap here. One of the nice things about a chair is it gives you a little bit of back support. That's great. But as you can see with this chair here, it's sort of tilted back in such a way that, yes, I'm getting a little bit of back support, but I'm also not sitting with a straight spine. I'm kind of just hanging out back here. So with chairs like these, if you have a little cushion or a bolster of some sort, you can put that right here, the base of your spine in the lumbar region. All of a sudden, you have a much straighter, more comfortable position for mindfulness and meditation. All right, so there you have it. 4 different ways that you can sit during mindfulness practice and meditation. My recommendation, if you're new to the practice, would be to try out all of these, or at least several of them, and just do one practice each day in a different way. And then finally, you'll have a sense of what works best for you. And that's really the way you should sit going forward. So hopefully that was helpful. As always, if you're interested in learning about these videos and watching my weekly content about meditation and mindfulness, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you for the next one.